I'd been promised to speak to a rabbi earlier in the day by the governor, and I said, what's this, what's this? You have to come with us. And I said, I'm not going anywhere. First of all, the governor's, the only place I'm going is to see the rabbi that the governor has promised to introduce me to today, because I trust anyone who believes they're a man of God rather than a man of a gun or whatever. So he goes, oh yeah, rabbi's waiting outside. Like, we didn't really believe him, but we go, okay, well, when we left and we were brought out and there was a paddy wagon waiting, like, where's the rabbi? And we got this token 2 minutes with the rabbi, and then we were put onto the paddy wagon, and we all went in convoy with the rest of the people. And in beside us, there was 4 men in our part of it, and we were very tight space. It was about 2 telephone boxes together. There was the space. There was no toilet facilities, and we were on there for 2.5 hours. One of the men had to pee into a bottle, which is a small thing and it's not a really big deal. It won't hit the headlines, but it's how they treat you like an animal, and that you're just kept in a confined space. When we were parked in outside the airport, we were left there for an additional hour, and the guard who was supposed to be outside the door had gone off somewhere. Had there been a medical emergency, had someone had diabetes, epilepsy, or whatever, or anything else, and a heart attack, there would have been no way to notify the authorities. So eventually they took us out and marched us into the terminal, and we said, we're not going anywhere. And it's like, and then they pulled out, they had their guns, and we had said, and we'd rather not see any of those weapons until we leave Israel, whenever that is. But I'll just remind you that you have killed some of us, and you have no right to threaten us anymore with those weapons. And we got a bit animated as well. And they were very quick to let us know that they had no problem in using their guns again on us, and said in so many words, and said that in Israel they'll do what they want and we can shut up. And we thought, oh, this is different from the prison. And we were brought up into the terminal. For about maybe the amount of of us were sitting down, the same number as there are of you. And some people were getting processed out, but we saw Paul LaRudy getting carried out. He was a 66-year-old American. He's got a white beard, and he was getting carried out, being carried by each limb, and his head sagging, and we were shocked. We thought, oh my God, has he been really hurt? Has he fainted? Is he dead? What's happened to him? And we all got up and said, get him a medic, let him go. And in our respective languages shouted the same kind of thing, going, leave him alone, get him that. And they responded to that with a batting charge, with a full-on batting charge, with about 40, 30 of them pulling out their batons. Now, I was at the back of it, and I was able to jump back with the captain of the Mavi Marmara and get the other side of the kiosks. And we saw through the kiosks. Then 2 cops came to us and said, stay there, stay there. But we could see how they were truncheoning people, breaking their heads, kicking them in the groin repeatedly, under their legs, on the most vulnerable parts of the body, but repeatedly, like bang, bang, bang. And we were shocked, because we thought this was possible on the raids, but not now. And it was CCTV everywhere, and we were like, how can this happen? And we were in shock. Then eventually we were allowed back to sit down, and most of the people had left. So 1 minute you're this number, next minute there's like 5 of us, and we saw people getting taken off, broken limbs, agonizing screams, men, fully grown men, screaming, howling in pain, which I don't hear very often, and it's really disconcerting. It's really horrible, and it's so surreal, because you're in an airport and it's saying, like, welcome to Israel, and here, get your passports checked here. And it was really surreal. That was really shocking. But we were sat down. I was sat down and said, Mahmoud, and he said, look, even if you do end up going to Istanbul, I'll take care of you, you'll be all right. I said, that's grand, but the objective is to stay and challenge this, isn't it? He goes, yeah, I don't want to leave before I know what's going to happen to my boat. And I said, yeah, and I want to challenge them too. So we were sitting there anyway, and we said, we'll stick together. And they came over a couple of times and said, you come over here. And I said, no, I'm not going to get processed out. I've got a legal arraignment. I want to challenge this in court. I'm contesting my deportation. So come over here. And I said, no, not without embassy official and a lawyer. I want legal advice if you want me to go over there. And the third time they came over, grabbed me by the arm. As soon as one of them grabbed me, 5 of them grabbed me. Next thing I was on the floor, face into the tiles, a guy's boot on my head, and eyewitnesses say another 12 jumped in, and there's about 17 of them on me. Now, I'd like to think I was that hard, but I'm not. I really am not. And it was complete overkill, as we'd seen before. But it was really just how we didn't ever feel like they personally despised us, but like all people who'd been trained to hate and to use violence were channeling it on anybody who was fair game at that time. And I kept on saying, okay, okay, okay. And I made my body limp. I had seen how other people who had an arm out like this got it broken, so I kept my elbows close to my torsos, and I actually put my hands behind my back so they could cuff me, and without breaking my limbs. But they were trying to break my fingers and force my arm back like this, like on this part, and the women as well were witnessing this, and they were saying, he's saying okay, and it took about 2 or 3 minutes for them to actually take me over to another part, threw me against the wall, kicked my feet from under me, and threatened to kill me again. I don't have much more to say. And they were trying to intimidate us, so obviously the reaction is, you don't want to let them see that you're scared, so you just like smile back and say, thanks a million lads, this is a lovely welcome. Is this the way you treat all your visitors? And I said, by the way, I know your actions don't represent the Jewish people, and your behaviour is a disgrace. To which they responded with putting more guns in my face, threatening to kill me, and eventually one of the ladies said, look, from the flotilla said, if you leave now without signing anything, would that be okay? And I said, well, I would really rather contest the case. And I said, yeah, but if you stay, we don't know where everyone else has been taken, we don't know where Ken's been taken, we don't know where the injured people, they might have been forced onto a plane already, and if we let you out of our sight again, Fiachra, we don't know what they're going to do to you. And it was true, like, I was afraid, of course I was afraid. And I just decided, okay, if I can leave without signing anything, as far as I'm concerned, I have my life threatened. I will have been put on a plane at gunpoint. And I went over to try and look for my passport, and it wasn't there. It had been there, but then it wasn't there. And I was looking, and all the passports, there was no Irish passport there that left. So my passport had disappeared because I had, they were taking things out on individuals who were troublemakers or whatever at any specific point. But another guy I know in the same situation who did stay the night, Manolo, had his passport robbed, had his credit cards robbed. They bought beer in his credit cards. They kept his Italian passport. The following day they sent him to Istanbul, and he was beaten up once he was in a cell on his own. That's what would have happened to me had I stayed as well. And everyone who did spend another night in Tel Aviv was beaten up again on their own, with about 3 or 4 of them on one person. But this happened to us, and I think we don't want to overestimate it, or you don't want to exaggerate it at all. But this is happening day in day out behind closed doors over there. But I got over to Istanbul. My passport has since been returned to me. I don't want to go on too much more, but if people want to know what I've been up to recently, I've been trying to put pressure on Micheál Martin to take Israel to account on this, as well as what happened in Dubai, because our passports have been abused by different international spy agencies. My own passport was kept and sent back to Dublin about a week later, but they would have had time to clone it, just as Ewan Doherty's passport was cloned when he had sent it to the Russian embassy for a while. And I think the issue of the security of our own personal information, it's not just personal security, it's national security for the country. And if biometric passports can be cloned that easily, we have to really ask the questions of our government: are these systems since 9/11 actually making us any safer? Now, are these body scanners, are they adding to our security? Of course they're not, but it's a way of maybe attempting to roll that back. But sorry for going on so long. It's lovely to be here. It's lovely to talk to you. Fintan's going to speak next, and just sing.